Today I am going to be reviewing Plane. It is a 2023 um, blockbuster type of film, kind of. I don't know. It's not like a blockbuster, but it was like it had like some good marketing. Like you saw ads for it. It's a film starring Gerard Butler. Everyone knows Gerard Butler, right? And then Mike Coulter. You may not know Mike Coulter. He's the guy who plays Luke Cage in the Luke Cage series in the MCU, and I think he appeared in. Shoot, did he appear in the Defenders and Iron Fist? I think also he appeared in those shows. So those are basically like kind of the main, the lead actors. It's kind of just those two who are like the leads. So basically, this film starts out with Gerard Butler on his way to the airport. Obviously, he is a pilot, and he's talking to his daughter on his way. Before he can, he's about to go through security and the checks and all that stuff. So he's basically, it's New Year's Eve. He's going to be meeting her in Singapore, I think. Singapore? Yeah, Singapore. And so basically, he gets through all the security, and they do all the checks and all that good stuff. And he meets some of his he meets the passengers and all that stuff. On the plane, introduces himself. I'm your captain. Blah 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 blah. Yada yada yada. All the formalities. And so actually now there's this guy, this cop who comes and he says, this guy is going to be on your flight, and it's of course the criminal, as Will, not Will Poulter, Mike Poulter's character, who is basically, they don't go a lot into it, but he's basically like a ex-military guy who worked like in the French army, and he's being court-martialed basically. They kind of reference it later that he was, there's like a line later when they're talking about it, and he's saying like, so what did you do? You do anything bad? And he's like, well, yeah, I was 18, but it doesn't really matter. You know, what I say happened. So basically, he's being court-martialed. I don't know what the French version of being court-martialed is, but he was 18. He was in the army. Something went wrong with either rules of engagement or maybe a civilian being killed. We don't really know. They don't go a whole lot into it. But basically, they're just like, yeah, here's this prisoner, and he's going to be a passenger on your plane. Like it was, the feds, right? So he didn't really have a choice, and he's just like, okay, yeah, whatever, just keep him away from my passengers, because, he's like, is he dangerous? And he's like, well, yeah, he killed somebody. So the relay center and everyone at the tower and the experts who work with navigation and everything, they're like, okay, here's the storm, but you're all clear. If you ascend wherever, if you go above, you can get a shortcut in. You can basically circumvent the storm system, and you can actually get to your destination on time. And I believe they're supposed to be going to, I think, Hong Kong, China is where they're supposed to be going. And of course, there's this storm. It hits the plane. It fries the electrical system, and they do not, they're not able to avert the storm. So, they have to, obviously they have to do an emergency landing, right? So they're trying to find places to land. Gerard Butler, he sees through the fog. Him and his co-pilot, they're like, okay, right there, that's land. And so they land, and basically he's got to do a little bit of, I guess they call this dead reckoning, when you are using your distance traveled, um, to kind of calculate where you are without kind of using landmarks, because he really didn't have any to go by. I mean, he kind of had a map, but it's like, their communication cut out. So basically, he's kind of figuring out where he is. He kind of, they're able to kind of estimate where they are on this map, and he's like, okay, we're somewhere on these islands in like the Philippines. All right, so actually what happens is, everyone, the executives who work for this airline, they have this like security guy, who's he's probably like either the security guy or like the CEO of the company or some super important guy. And he's calling in, basically he's trying to find out, who can come rescue them, who can drop in and come rescue these guys. But they find out that this island in the Philippines is run by separatists, and the Philippine army does not go there because they've had so many bouts and scuffles with this separatist militant group that they don't even go to the island anymore. So basically, this island is run by a bunch of like, basically they're like gang members. They're an armed militia. They're their own army, right? The Philippine army and government, like they don't go there. So once they find that out, the security guy, like the CEO guy, is like, okay, well, you guys are gonna have to do basically like search and rescue. Like they're like basically saying, okay, this is like urgent because we don't know how long these guys are gonna last with these militant uh, group on the island. So he basically sends he sends the I guess these special forces guys, to the last known signal. Well, not signal, but just a in order for Gerard Butler to actually get a signal out, he has to kind of do some wiring for this old phone, and he relays the message to his daughter, which then relays it to like the airline, and then basically, yeah, he sends the special forces guys in, and they're kind of going in blind for the most part. They are able to see it on like a satellite image, but they don't know like how many people are there as far as the militants go. So they're on the island, and then they see vehicles driving up, and they're like, "Oh, look, yay, yay, help has arrived, help has arrived." And then the co-pilot's like, "Wait, wait, wait, wait! You don't know like what's going on. You don't know who these people are." Because he knew, because Gerard Butler actually told him that, yeah, this is a separatist island, and it's dangerous, but like don't tell the passengers. So he kind of knew, but the passengers did not know. And basically, they get kidnapped, of course, which sucks. And um, Mike Coulter, uh, he kind of springs into action, um, and kind of frees the prisoners with Gerard, after they actually had a bout with a couple of the other militants on the island. So, you have the criminal who's kind of becoming a hero now. They get freed. Gerard Butler gets taken prisoner because he's the pilot, and they're about to kill Gerard Butler. But then the special forces guys show up, and they just kind of, these guys are experts, man. Like they're really good. Like they take these guys out. They get Gerard Butler back. They all drive to the plane, and it's like a pretty cool like gun battle, going on, and they're ducking, they're taking cover because Gerard has to get the plane, in working condition. Basically, he's got like a couple adjustments to make, and they've got to get cover fire, and so it's like it's an all-out assault from the militants on the plane. They're like, no, we're not letting this plane take off. So basically, um, they get the plane started. Gerard Butler's like, okay, guys, you guys got to get on the plane. And then Mike Coulter is about to, run, but he grabs his bag of money that he saw earlier when he was looking for ammo. He grabs that, and he just he books it. He just runs out of there. And then so anyway, all the special forces, all the military guys, they get on the plane, and they're about to like take off. But there's one guy, the leader dude, who's about to like take a big RPG and shoot the plane, but Mike Coulter takes him out. So he shoots him, and then they're able to escape, and it's a happy ending. So this film was not anything like too spectacular. I think they tried to keep it grounded in reality, for the most part. Some of the CGI looks fake with the plane driving or the plane flying, which is like my only kind of special effects thing that I didn't really like. Otherwise, the film is pretty good. Um, You know, it's just kind of like a simple hostage situation on like this hostile island, which is not a story that's super. It's not like a super unique story, but it worked. You know, it's a nice little story. The action is good. You had good hand to hand combat, great gunfights, and some good lead actors. So overall, this film is probably like a 8 out of 10. Honestly, it's not anything spectacular, but it's not no a bad film. So for what it is, just a story about a pilot crashing and then having to survive on this hostile island. That's basically what it is. Nothing fancy, nothing over the top. So for what it is, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Um, it's definitely a movie you should check out. So definitely check out Plane, starring Gerard Butler.